Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, March 20th, 2020. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing, are items not as described cases increasing on eBay? Why and what can be done about it? We're also going to be talking about your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. I really don't want to discuss the current situation with the virus in today's video. I'm going to make a special video about that either tomorrow or Sunday. I want to keep today's video just about eBay. So that being said, let's get started with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. But I'd like to point out that as usual, it's cloudy and rainy, and that's just the way it's been. No end in sight, man. Make Money on eBay said, your rain has transferred to California. No, sir. It has not transferred to California. I'm merely sharing it with you. We still got ours. Quite a few people wrote in about cancellations. Claudio Medeiros wrote, hello from Portugal. As far as cancellations go, yesterday I had a buyer that purchased an item, paid, and 4 minutes later wants to cancel it. I could cancel it right away, but I'm putting him on hold until Monday, just so he can learn his lesson. Then I'll cancel his purchase. As a bonus, add him to my blocked buyer list, which just keeps getting longer. R. Dennis wrote, my first cancellation in 10 years happened just last week. I received the sale notification, and please cancel at the same time. So to me that was interesting that it was so fast and cost me a PayPal fee. Straight Hype wrote, I run auction style listings every month and always get at least 1 or 2 people asking for a cancellation request after they've won the item. Now I make sure to add on my description box that I won't be taking any more cancellation requests from bidders, and made it clear if you don't want the item, simply retract your bid at any time or don't pay for it. It's that simple. Unfortunately, that's not stopping my bidders, and I literally got a deadbeat bidder requesting a cancellation right after he won an item. I then messaged him back and told him to please read my seller terms. It clearly states I no longer accept cancellation requests for auction items. He then gets rude with me and tells me maybe you should just refrain from selling. Sure enough, he did not pay for it and had to wait 8 days to get my selling fees back. People like that are just a waste of time and money. I totally agree with you, and I'm toying with the idea of putting a clause in all my listings saying, please read carefully before purchasing and do comparison shopping, because I will no longer accept any cancellations whatsoever. On a good note, I didn't have any cancellations this week, but I had a lot of returns, and I'll talk about them when we move into the SNAD returns discussion. The Grateful Hippie wrote, hi Joe, I was lucky with the Clorox wipes on eBay. I was late to the party, but I was able to cash out on what I had right as the gate closed behind me. Even my out-of-stock listings were yanked. The crazy thing is that there are still active listings for Clorox wipes and similar products on eBay as of Saturday evening. eBay even sent me a let's help you find what you want email showing all banned active listings. eBay either needs to stop these new listings, like they announced they would do, or open it back up. It's just frustrating. I've heard quite a few people commenting that scenario, even on the Facebook groups. My advice is not to list anything that's in the banned category at this time. Dennis Copper wrote about stockouts. Joe, when you have a stockout, how do you buy from another buyer and then get the item and then send it to your buyer in a timely manner? Do you just tell the seller to ship it to them? It seems like a lot of time can go by frustrating your buyer. It's rare, but I've had a stockout maybe twice. I just refund the buyer explaining the situation. I don't beg or plead or ask to be forgiven, just a short message. I'm not obligated or holding to any buyer. They can go on with their life and so can I. No harm done. I would never do what you do. Well, Dennis Copper, to each his own, but what I do is I have the item shipped directly to the buyer. Whether I buy from one of my independent sources or whether I buy on eBay, to save time, I have it shipped directly to the buyer, and I've never encountered a problem. Christian Hine wrote again about not refunding original shipping. So I just crawled out of my cave, LOL. My question remains though, how do you not receive negative feedback for not refunding the entire purchase price, original shipping included? Seems like customers would be very angry, especially if they pay to ship something back. Knowing in advance they won't receive a full refund may make a return not worth it to the item. Getting surprised after the fact would seem to be causation for negative feedback. You clearly know what you're doing. This just really surprises me. I don't really return things, so maybe my expectations are different from others. I'd expect a full refund as a customer. Curious to hear from others about your experiences. Am I the a-hole? Dennis Copper replied to him with a very good reply, which I'm going to read now. Since Joe charges for initial shipping and offers a 30-day return, not free returns, when a buyer makes a mistake, they pay both the shipping cost. The buyer pays to send the item back and loses the initial shipping cost. Joe refunds only the dollar amount of the item because he did nothing wrong. The problem starts when the buyer is not honest and says Joe's item is not as described. This has been a plague for all good sellers, and that is why I am making this the focal point of today's video. False SNAD returns. It is true, I do not refund original shipping on buyer remorse returns, and I never will. A few weeks ago, I showed you a video. Christian, I don't know if you saw it or not, I think you did, of how much money I saved in just 1 week. $274 I would have lost on shipping if I offered free shipping. It's just plain sick. And if you sold in eBay Motors or any other troublesome category, you would have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. The returns are just crazy. Now, they were always on the high side, but lately it's just been off the charts. I don't know what's going on. This week alone, I had only 6 returns, and for that I am joyful. I am happy, because last week I think I had 13. 6 returns, you know, it's not terrible, because 4 of the returns were totally honest buyers who bought the wrong size. They were contrite about it. They opened a return request. They're sending the item back on their dime, and when I get it back, I'll refund the purchase price, but not the original shipping, because I did nothing wrong. My policy is very, very fair and effective, and I'm doing very well with it. And like I've showed you, it saves me a ton of money. In a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the 2 false SNAD returns when I finish with these comments. On returns, DeGoul wrote, I had a buyer request a return, and I offered them an exchange, which they accepted. In the return case, I paid for a return label to be sent to the buyer, and I printed a new label to send the new items to the buyer. eBay said on that page, if the buyer does not return the item, eBay will charge them for it. Guess what? The buyer never returned the item. I called eBay to ask when I would get my money. Of course, their overseas customer service reps are all clueless and said I was already paid on the first item. I wanted payment on the second, as eBay promised. I had to call back 4 times until I got someone who understood. None of them knew what an exchange was or why I sent them 2 items. Only after reaching an American did they understand, but even then it took an act of Congress to get them to pay me $12. DeGoul, this is why I refuse to do exchanges. I've had a few occasions, not many, where the buyer bought a wrong size and said, will you exchange it? I said, no. I will give you a full refund, but I don't do exchanges because it opens the door to too many potential problems. and I respectfully ask you to rethink that in the future. 579-7029, Mike wrote about returns. I've had no unpaid items for 2 weeks, but returns are another story. The best one is an item not as described case for a shirt due to the color. The listing states lime yellow. Buyer said his wife tells him he looks terrible in green. The shirt is yellow, but he's colorblind and taking her word for it. Then he messages me explaining how he's tech illiterate and has no idea how to return it through eBay. So I tell him just to buy a label and I'll refund him when I receive it. 2 hours later, an item not as described case is opened, and this guy is a doctor, as his address label and message stated. You know, I've had a few of them too. A few months ago, I had a person who claimed buyer remorse. He bought the wrong size. I said, no sweat. Just select wrong size, doesn't fit, or change mind. He went ahead and clicked on item does not match pictures or description, just to get that free shipping back. This is a huge problem, and it's time we talked about it. On fake accounts, Wooden Stuff with Steve French wrote, Joe, we cannot block that Fitchy buyer because none of us know how to type that Arabic name. He is referring to that fake eBay account with the Arabic name that accepted my office to a watcher a few weeks ago, never paid, never responded to the unpaid item case, and caused me some grief. So what I'll do for you guys, I will put a link to that fake account in the description box below. And I heartily suggest you all block it, because I honestly believe it's a fake, fraudulent account, and I'm trying to do what I can to protect you guys against that, because eBay refuses to require account verification. All right, that's it with the comments for today. Let us now talk about some news from the week, starting with false SNAD cases. I had 2 this week, 2 false SNAD cases. But they were a little different than what I usually get. Both people selected item received broken, which is something I never get. And I want to discuss both these cases in detail because they're super interesting. So for item case number 1, I'm going to have to get something I have off camera here and bring it over. It'll help you understand better. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, let me take a drink from the Fox News Cup o' Life. This is the Fox News Cup o' Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. I'm telling you, it's cold, it's cloudy, it's nasty as hell out here today. I mean, worse than usual. And the rain's going to kick in again shortly, I think. Okay, item arrived broken case number 1. A person in Hawaii bought a plastic hub from me. It's not, she didn't buy this one, but I'm using this as an example. She opens an item not as described case and checked off arrived broken, and sends me a picture of just half of the hubcap. Now imagine if this thing is cut right in half, okay? She sends me just the picture of the bottom half and tells me that the post office delivered it broken. Now this concerns me greatly, because if it was delivered broken, why didn't she send me the picture of both, the top half and the bottom half, instead of just sending me the bottom half? My gut feeling tells me is she sent me a picture of her old one, because when these bolt onto the wheel, okay, and when you hit a curb or something, it's common for them to crack in half like that. It's very common, in fact. So I honestly think she sent me a picture of her old one and is trying to claim a false SNAD case against me. What makes this a little more unusual is the fact that because she's in Hawaii, eBay is giving me the option of accepting the case or not. My question to you guys, given the information I provided to you, what would you do? Let me point out that the case was opened yesterday, 24 hours ago, and I still have not responded to it because I have a few days left. I'm going to leave her hanging for a while. The amount in question is approximately $45 with the original shipping. So my choices would be, number one, deny the case and say, tough, I'm not accepting it. Choice two, give her her full money back with original shipping, which is $45, and let her keep the broken item, because I have no use for it. Or choice number three, accept the return and make her send the item back to me, which is obviously useless. Another thing that I'm going to jump on while I'm talking about this, a lot of sellers block buyers from Hawaii. I have never done that before, but after this, I'm starting to think about it. Shipping is expensive to Hawaii. This was a 3-pound item, and it cost me $15.27 to send a 3-pound item to Hawaii. So because I have a negative taste with this particular buyer, I am thinking about blocking all people from Hawaii, though I haven't done it yet and it's not in stone. So my two questions for you. In this case, what would you do as far as the return? And number two, do you block people from Hawaii? Why or why not? So let me know about that. Case number two. This one's really something. Every few years I run into somebody like this. Guy opens a case, item not as described. He bought a set of hubs that were in beater condition, meaning scratches, blemishes, etc. He checks off the reason, item broken or damaged. He proceeds to write a full freaking paragraph covering every single possible clause to return an item. It went something like this. I received the item damaged because it was broken in shipment due to poor packing by the seller. Okay, received it broken. That's clause number one. In addition, the items did not match the pictures because there were more scratches than pictures. Items do not match pictures. There's number two. Number three, many of the faults of these items were not described in the listing. Therefore, the pictures do not match the description whatsoever. This buyer went on to write such a deep, complex paragraph of all the reasons he was returning these items, then proceeds to take 5, count them, 5 close-up pictures of every scratch and blemish on the items. I do not understand why anybody would invest such time and energy in doing that when by just clicking item not as described or whatever, the return will go right through. I automatically block this person. Of course, I have to accept the return and pay shipping both ways. There's no argument there. I have to do that. And I will do it. And when these items come back, I'm going to relist them, hopefully for more money than I sold them for. But I was really shocked that he returned these. Now he says these were damaged in shipping. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I'll let you know in next week's video. But when somebody does something like that, I block them. As you may or may not know, eBay, like most other companies, are having a good deal of their employees work from home. That means most likely you will find it difficult to contact customer service representatives in the near future. So I'm just putting that out there for now. This is a time-sensitive issue, and I will keep you informed on things I hear on the Facebook groups or wherever. As far as sales are concerned, sales this week I would say were pretty darn good, with the exception of one day, which I believe was Tuesday, was quite slow. I only made 3 sales. I do expect the market to be somewhat turbulent for the next few weeks, if not months. But so far, I'm very happy to report my sales have been pretty steady. I noticed a lot of cheaper items are selling, and that's fine. I'm happy to make a sale no matter what the amount is. Basically, I'm going to keep this video short because it is freaking freezing out here. It is raw. Guys, remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. Each week I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you be successful in your eBay sales. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on point and appreciated. If you don't think I'm doing a good job, tell me in the comment section what you'd like me to hit up, and I'll be more than happy to try and do it next week. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems. I'm still making money online. I've never worn a mask and I never will. I've never changed my voice or altered it in any way because I feel that's dishonest and unscrupulous and fishy in nature. Heck, I'm a CEO and a CFO of my own company. So I want everybody to go out there, make a lot of money on eBay this week, rock on, and peace! Yeah! And as always, guys, the motto of the Crazy New York Driver show is, don't be fishy! See you guys in a couple of days. I'll probably be back either Saturday or Sunday with another video to update you on some other things and how things are going worldwide. So yeah, see you then.